Okay, assalamu alaikum. So to make the prohibition of a command, all you have to do is take a present tense verb, put it into second person, throw a sukoon on the end, and then throw a la before it. So it would look something like this. Let's take the present tense verb yansuru, which means he is helping. We put it into the second person, it becomes tansuru, which means you are helping. Let's change that. Which means you are helping. Next, we throw a sukoon on the end, so it becomes tansur, and then finally just add a lam right before it, so it becomes la tansur, which means don't help. So when we're referring to commands in negation, or commands in general, keep in mind there's no third person. You can't command someone that you're speaking about, nor can you command yourself. You can only command somebody that you're speaking to, so that's second person. So if we take it through the table, it would look like this. La taftah, don't open. La taftaha, right? Before, in the present tense, it was taftahani. Remember, taftahani. That noon gets dropped because it can't carry a sukoon. So it just becomes la taftah, la taftaha, which means don't open, and it's referring to two people who are male. Then we go to la taftahu. So before it used to be taftahuna, that noon gets dropped because it can't carry sukoon. It becomes la taftahu. So don't open, referring to three or more males. La taftahi, before it was taftahina, noon gets dropped, can't carry. Don't open, referring to one female. And then la taftaha means don't open, referring to two. And then la taftahna. So in this case, this is the exception. That noon doesn't drop. This is known as noon al-niswa. Literally means the noon of the gathering of the women or the gathered women, and it doesn't drop. So when you're giving a command to three or more women, that noon does not drop, but in every other circumstance, the noon does drop. That's just something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at some examples. So here we have nasarti zaydan, which is in its past tense form, and it's pointing to a female, so it means you helped Zayd, a female. So you're speaking to a girl, and you're pointing at her, and you're saying you helped Zayd. Right? We know Zayd is the one receiving the action because it's in a state of nasb. We know that this is a female because if we go through our chart, nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, nasarata, nasarna, nasarta, which is you masculine, nasartuma, both of you masculine, nasartum, three or more of you masculine, and then we reach nasarti, which is you feminine. So you helped Zayd. If we take it into the present tense, it becomes tansurina Zaydan, which means you are helping Zayd. Right? If we want to do the command of it, it just simple. You just find the second person singular female command for you, and it's unsur, unsuri, right? Unsuri. We chop off that noon because it can't bear a sukoon, and it's simply just unsuri Zaydan, which means you help Zayd. So you're speaking to a female and you're telling her to help Zayd. So let's look at these same examples, but by putting them into the negative. So ma nasarti Zaydan, right? This would now mean you did not help Zayd, right? You did not help Zayd. Just by throwing that ma onto the past tense, it goes into the negative. Let's see how we do this in the present tense. La tansurina Zaydan would now mean you are not helping Zayd, right? All we have to do is throw that la onto the beginning. And then for the prohibition, what we do is that we take the second person present tense and we just throw a la before it. That's it. La tansuri Zaydan, la tansuri Zaydan, la tansuri Zaydan. And the noon is dropped because it can't carry a sukoon. And yeah, that's it guys. That is prohibitions. Assalamu alaikum.